Hi, it's Jerry with iLoveRVlife. Recently, I was interviewed by the Breakout Room Podcast, and we give you a little insight into I Love RV Life and what we're really all about. Stay tuned. Hi, this is Jerry. Recently, I was interviewed for the Breakout Room Podcast. Tristan Nickerson and Eric Fishman of the Stalgia app. They have created a brand new app that will be coming out very, very soon. It's currently in beta. To be able to share your travels and your memories with friends and family. And I think this is going to be an interesting project. They have a podcast called The Breakout Room where they interview people who are in all kinds of walks of travel. And I was very fortunate to be interviewed by them recently. So what they were kind enough to allow me to do is take the video that we use from the Zoom and create some excerpts here for you to kind of get an idea about I Love RV Life and what we're all about and how we came about. And I hope you find this interesting. At the end of today's video, I will have a link to where you can listen to the entire podcast, the audio portion of that, if you're interested. And you also want to stay tuned because we've got a giveaway that I think you're going to find fun for the month of March. So stay tuned. Hope you enjoy the podcast.
Welcome to the Breakout Room. It's Tristan Niskanen here with Eric Fishman, and we have a guest here today. Jerry, what's up? Let's just get into the conversation. So I think just for all the listeners out there, part of why we have this conversation today is there's a lot of intersections here from entrepreneur stuff, tech stuff, the whole traveling, recording of traveling, sharing it with people, the celebration of all that. And I'm really curious, do you have a certain way of getting inspiration for these trips, or is there a way you discover them? I'm just curious on what's next. Like, you have these cycles of trips. How do you find what's next?
Yeah, that's a great question. And probably that's one of the larger questions we get through our social media. We have, we're doing all the social media stuff that works for us. I think you guys found us through Reddit. That's a new avenue for us, but we've got a growing YouTube channel, a little over 35,000 subscribers. As a matter of fact, launched January the 2nd of 2017. And for this podcast, I hadn't looked in a long time. I wondered how many minutes had been viewed since we launched the channel. So far, we've had 27.5 million minutes of viewing on that little channel. So we're I guess a medium-sized travel, podcast and vlog, or not podcast, but blog and vlog. We have both of those. And we get those questions all the time. Where, how do you find the campgrounds? How do you find places to tour? So we do what we call a hub and spoke. So the type of RV that we're in, we have to have space because I have an office in the fifth wheel that has a video editing suite in it, a graphic suite, big monitors, customized desk. We took the dinette out and made just my space where I can work. And then, we've got every hotspot in the world in there. And so what we do is we take this 40-foot fifth wheel and ton truck, 56 feet long, and we'll go to one specific location, and then we'll park it there for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, somewhere like that. And then we do what we call a hub and a spoke. So, we're in a center of a location, and then we go out up to 50 miles is a reasonable drive. That's usually less than an hour in one location, and tour. So we'll look at a specific spot, usually something rural. We don't like to camp in the big cities and things like that. We'll visit them. Like when we went out to Austin and San Antonio, we stayed in San Marcos. So it was 45 minutes in one direction, 45 minutes in another. And then we could hit all the hot spots, good music, do all the fun things that were located in an area. So we'll look at a specific location. Google Maps, we use something called All Stays, which is a product created for RVers and campers that give you all the campgrounds and those types of things in an area. And then we'll just look and see what can keep us busy. I'll work a day, play a day, work a morning, play an afternoon, do that kind of a gig. and then we go out and do our thing. So we're big foodies. We love good wine. It seems like every time we travel, we find vineyards, at least have lately. And then we like to do a lot of the historical things. Joan, without going into a lot of details, Joan has some mobility issues from a car accident a number of years ago. So she can't do the hikes, but she can still do a lot of other things. She just can't do the stressful things for long periods of time. So, we'll do museums, we just love old historic places that we can find in an area. We like music venues. We usually do a month in Nashville every year. We will skip Nashville this year for obvious reasons. So, we'll do those types of things. And that's just how we do our travel, that hub and spoke, find a central location, something to keep us busy for weeks or a month, and then go from there. So it's just, a lot of Google. And then we'll do a big circle, we'll do, like we're going to go out 3 months, a couple weeks here, a couple weeks here, a couple weeks there. We'll do a big circle and we'll just find in what those areas. Sometimes it takes a day or two of planning, then another day or two of calling all the locations of what campgrounds are available. Will our fifth wheel fit? What kind of amenities they have? How expensive is it? We'll do like a budget stop, an expensive stop, a budget stop, those types of things. And then rock and roll, have fun. It's a good life. And then I've got my business that's very, very portable that I can take on the road. So that's another thing, do we have good Verizon or good AT&T that will allow me to be able to move big files, when I have to work. So, it all plugs in. It sounds like a lot of work. It's not, you kind of get a rhythm and then you just do your thing. And then once we hit the road, we just have a blast, just have so much fun.
Yeah. And I'm kind of wondering what has been one of your favorite things about being on the road, and this year in particular?
This year's been a challenge. Well, let's talk 2020. We haven't done anything, now it's, getting near the end of February. We normally roll out of here on the 2nd of January. We were going to go out west this year. I don't know whether that was just good luck, good fortune, or what that was. Thank goodness we didn't go because they've had one of the worst winters in history out west. So I'm glad we didn't do it this year. But last year, we only made 5 months of travel. COVID caught us in the middle of travel. We were in South Carolina when it exploded, the second week of March. We were watching everything. And it just blew up, and we canceled our trip and drove like 9, almost 10 hours straight to get home. It was a terrible drive. And then just sat till the 1st of June. It looked like COVID was going to taper down. And where did we go? We went to Florida for a month, and we're down there 2 weeks. And then Florida had their big June spike. So we came home, sat again till the 1st of September, and then went to North Georgia for 3 weeks, did some hiking, drank some wine, and then we went up to the North Carolina, Virginia border, right at the top end of North Carolina. And that is a massive wine region that has, and good hiking too. We did some incredible hiking. But a big wine region there. There's 300 vineyards, and there were 77 vineyards and wineries within a 30-mile radius of where we were at. So for 3 solid weeks, we hiked and drank wine. So tough life. And I worked in the middle of that too. So, we did that. And then we came home, and that's it. We parked it. We parked it right November 1st and haven't moved since. So we are antsy. We really want to get out on the road again. So we don't know what this year is going to hold for us. We'll just have to wait and see. We'll take off and see what we can find open. That's what this kind of a couple-week test is. Our places, especially in the Southeast, seems to be a little bit more open than other parts of the United States. We might kind of stay in this area a little bit. And then again, if everything starts opening up this summer, we might venture out a little bit further. So it just really depends on what the states are going to do, how this virus behaves, and just what we feel like is going to be safe for us to be out there and travel. It's going to be a bit of a challenge, I think.
I'm just thinking back. Like, I love your like spot and spoke strategy. Sorry, I missaid it. But
Hub and spoke.
Hub and spoke strategy. I think it's great, and it just makes me wonder and maybe envy how many places you can just kind of close your eyes and transport yourself right back to, the beautiful lakes and the different hikes that you've gotten to do. I'm wondering if there are any like standouts for someone like me who maybe hasn't had the chance to get out there on the road and go to these places, but wants to see the most beautiful places in America.
I just recently did Stone Mountain in North Carolina. There's a Stone Mountain, Georgia, which is right outside of Atlanta. Then there's a Stone Mountain in a place called Roaring River, North Carolina. It's between Mount Airy and Elkin. Mount Airy is real famous for, that's Andy Griffith's home, Mayberry, and it looks like going into Mayberry. And this place called Roaring River is one of these giant granite outcroppings that just, a prehistoric bubble that occurred, just big solid granite. It was the most stunning place that I've traveled out west, I've been through the Sierra Nevadas, but you had that mixture of slick giant granite and those beautiful Appalachian mountains. Holy cow, it was just absolutely beautiful. So we hiked up to the top of the mountain, and you can see in the videos as we just look over the ledges, it's stunning. And a big giant hawk flew by, and we caught that on camera as it was looking around. It was stunning. And then you go down the mountain, and then you're in this big giant mountain laurel thicket. It's a mountain rhododendron, and you follow a creek to this magnificent waterfall. It was a day hike. It was almost a religious experience. It was really, really something. Probably in our travel, we started in 2014, probably in our travel, that is the single place that I've been to that I just, every time somebody says, what's your favorite? I can't get it out of my mind. I could talk about that hike for hours. It's incredible. So that one's big. We did Mount Yonah up in North Georgia. It was a similar type of a hike, very vertical. It's almost a straight up hike. Similar kind of a mountain. We did that recently. One of my favorite campgrounds is, of all places, located right outside of Little Rock, Arkansas. It's called Maumelle Corps of Engineer Park. And this is right before we started doing video. We were still just writing blogs at that time. And we got a picture of the camper sitting there, and the Arkansas River is, like 50 feet from our front door. And I'm out there with pieces of bread, feeding the geese every morning, drinking my cup of coffee. So that's a real special place.
And just hearing about Stone Mountain, I definitely have similar experiences, like being on top of a mountain and you just are in another mindset. And that, I think that's just one of the beauties of travel, and it's so incredible.
It is.
I'm wondering, do you go back and look through your old blogs and vlogs, or like, do you have personal photos? Like when you go back and think about your trips, or if you go back, I'm wondering, is it the content you've put out, or do you have like stuff that you've mostly kept, or just in general?
Yeah, so, like many of us who travel, I've got this, massive terabyte and growing of pictures. So when we go out, the camera setup that I have, I do, as a matter of fact, I was just doing some videos this week. I've got like a beater. It looks like this is just a Canon 10i. This is not the lens I usually go with. I use a 17 by 22 wide angle. And then I'll take a GoPro, and I've got a mount that I'll put on top. So that's like my vlogging rig. So I just turn the GoPro on and walk around and take, and it's, I'm doing this, talking and showing the sights. And then at the same time, I'm taking snapshots of everything. So, when I hike, I'll have, hundreds of shots, and I might trim it down to 50 or 60. But yeah, we go back and look at those pictures. But it's interesting you bring that up. This weekend, we went through and just looked at some things of what we had done just in the last trip, looked at some of those, and then went back, and it was really funny. We went back to 2014 and looked at the first 2 trips that we did in the fifth wheel, and we were just laughing our heads off at, we were clueless. We didn't know what we were doing. We just hoped we didn't break something when we went out, because, we're big, we're 56 feet long, but, we didn't tear anything up when we first parked. It was a miracle. And then just looked at some of the fun things. We didn't know, we hadn't created that hub and spoke yet. Form of travel, we would just go somewhere and just see what was there. Hey, this looks interesting. Let's just go over there and see what we can find. And so it was a lot of trial and error, and really in that first year, probably first 18 months. And then all of a sudden we went, oh, I think we got a formula here. Let's see if we can expand on this. So after about 18 months, we kind of created that thing, and then off we went. But yeah, we still go back and look, and we get, again, I was sharing the social media aspect of this lifestyle, which if you don't participate in that and you're doing a lot of travel, or even if you're doing a little travel, if you don't share in that social media aspect, I think you're missing half of it. I think the joy of seeing that and experiencing it and then sharing it with others, with one of two hopes: either they get to see it face to face, or they don't have that opportunity to go where you went for whatever reason, economics, physical challenges, whatever they may have. And we get so many people that get to live through our eyes and experience that, and to see their comments and social media when we get to do that. It just, that's as thrilling as doing it, really and truly. Just having that, we call it a family. We tell people when they, join our blogs or join our newsletters, that we're thrilled that they could join the iLoveRVlife family and, join our travels with us. And then when we go out to campgrounds, or, you're at Walmart, it just doesn't matter, where you're at. Walmart is not a sponsor of this podcast, but, if we, no matter where we're at, it's so interesting. Joan and I'll be pushing a buggy, and all of a sudden we'll hear somebody go, "Jerry, Joan," and they'll come running over. Our market's, narrow, but it's highly vertical. And we run into people almost every day that we're out, to the point that I created a little sticker that people can put on the back of their camper, an iLoveRVlife sticker. And we keep those in our pockets when we're out, and we give stickers out to everybody. And that's become a coveted and collector's item. Everybody wants the selfie, and, they put it on Facebook. We got a sticker from Jerry and Joan. So, it's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun doing that. I think that social media of sharing travels is just invaluable. And it's a thrill to be able to do that. Really. This thing that we created, we never expected it would have a life that it has. And I encourage you with the opportunities that you have with, your new venture and the way that it's going. Ours has evolved over time. And I think that's, a natural evolution that you would see with any type of an app or software or business, or, whatever you're doing. And ours has evolved greatly and really created just kind of for lack of a better term, an iLoveRVlife community. I'll be honest with you, I never expected that. I'm quite surprised. And it's just a joy to share. It really is.
Yeah, it's something that I absolutely love, watching a few of your videos. When, like you said, someone sees you and recognizes you and joins the video, they become part of it. And
oh yeah,
not even just getting a sticker, they get that little moment captured in real time. And I think that's just so awesome that you have fostered this community, people who have a mutual passion, and seeing the, friendliness, just the genuine connections come to life is really cool. And I know you, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, please.
Yeah, and I know kind of like part two, you said that you've had many trips with your wife Joan, but also have had the opportunity to share some experiences with your children who've grown up and have left the house. Uh, and I know maybe just this is true to the experience, but having that family aspect really both for yourself and also to the extended community.
Yeah, so it's kind of interesting. I'm glad you reminded me of that. So, excuse me. Neither one of our, RVing was never part of our lifestyle with kids. I'll go back and date myself a bit here, if you don't mind. So when Joan and I got married in the middle '70s, we were just kids. I mean, we were just kids, and I was working and going to school part-time, and the van craze had kicked off. So for 2 years, we would take, like, from April till, being in the South, we could do this, but from the April till probably the end of October, early November, we would work 4 days and then spend 3 days at the beach every weekend. I mean, it was every weekend. We were beach bums. And we had a van that we customized. It was a really big thing in the '70s. And it's funny how, everything has a life cycle and comes back around. And that's a big deal now. Again, and then once the kids started popping up, several years later, I decided I had to go, finish school, go corporate, put the suit and tie on, and we had to give that up and, raise children. Then once our adult kids, finished school, took off on their own life, we started looking for another avenue of what, we could do for just us, just us. We had children very young, and we wanted to, we still had a lot of miles that we could still be able to enjoy things. So we wanted to make sure that we took advantage of that. And the kids had just never had any, it's not that they didn't have a desire, they just didn't have any knowledge about it. And once they started following our channel and seeing this, our youngest daughter, her husband and kids bought a camper, and they started, they're teachers. They started doing things specifically in the summers and the long breaks that they get. And sometimes we would do camping spots together. Our son is a restaurateur, and he just doesn't have the ability to be able to take those long extended times and leave the restaurant that he has for any long periods of time. But he's able to, work out, when we go, especially if it's in an area that has wine or good food, he always shows up. And he'll come up for a couple days and we do things together. And there's a great video. I think there's 3 videos that we did this summer when we went to St. Augustine, and we all just went down as a group, and there was, our camper and our daughter's camper was directly behind us. So we had kind of like a big community area, and we were cooking breakfast outside and hanging out at the beach and going to all the oyster bars and hitting all we've got this thing when we go to the beach, we hit all the beach pubs, and we were raiding those every night. We just had a blast, So it's done something family wise that I never expected, that we would have, a type of a glue of travel that they would all enjoy for, doing with mom and dad. And, because usually kids grow up, they do their own thing, right? And they see mom and dad on Thanksgiving or Christmas. And that just hasn't been the case. They have fallen in love with this style of travel and this experience. I mean, it really is an experience. And this really started kicking off probably about 3 years ago. And we just have a great time all traveling together. We really do, really good time.
I think that's beautiful, and both on the growing the website, the blog, vlog, all of that, plus this almost unexpected connection with the family, all comes out of love, the love for doing this, like wanting to have an adventure and travel, see the world with the people you love, and share it with other people so they can either be inspired by it or live somewhat vicariously through it. And from from hearing it, I think it's because it starts from a place of love and following your passions. And that's something that Eric and I are doing right now, doing something that we love and seeing where we can take it. So you're an inspiration there. And also uh, love that you have that connection to travel too, because that's part of how we became really good friends and how we got started with this app, and now it's brought us together too. So it's just a continuation. It's pretty cool.
And just like you guys building your app and building this, this business and it will, it is a business, building this business. And I Love RV Life to some degree has become a bit of a business. We do make, not enough money that this is all that we can do. We're not like a Casey Neistat, who gets 27 million views when he flies to Dubai. We'll never, first of all, I don't think we'll be flying to Dubai. I don't think anybody's going to pay I Love RV Life to fly to Dubai. Anybody listening, I'm game. But, I'd like to have 27 million views. But we don't have that kind of an audience. But it does make money. And mostly what it does is it goes back into buying good camera gear, so that we can continue to enhance that experience. I think I mentioned earlier that when Jonah and I first started traveling, we had no idea. I mean, you can read the blogs. There wasn't as many videos channels out there on RV travel as there is now. That really has exploded over the last couple of years. And we just determined once we started figuring out, we bought this thing and spent $60 for it, and what a piece of garbage. Now we're stuck with it, or it's useless. Now we got to go out here and spend another $60 for the thing that works, right? And we had nothing to draw from. So when we started looking at the channel, we had travel, that's part of the half. And then the other half was really something for that new maturing RV traveler that was out there, regardless of whether they're in a van or in a, big Class A $1 million, Class A bus type thing out there, and all the things that's in between. We still use some similar common products. And we started looking at how we could start sharing that. Probably greater than 95% of the product reviews that we do, we buy that product. I mean, on occasion, we'll have a vendor send something to us and go, would you review this? And we'll look at it. And, if we don't have to mount it to something to where we don't have to permanently attach it, we'll keep it. But most of the time we do drawings and give that stuff away. We just gave away a $100 and something stabilizer system for RVs. I just shipped it last Monday. But we'll do those types of things. But we really wanted to be able to help people get started. It's really different than just say owning a home or living in an apartment or renting a house. There's all these things that you've got to have, and there's good things and then there's not so good things. So what we decided that we would do with our channel is make it a positive channel. And we did that very, very early on. You could see channels where you've got all this drama. It's the broken, the challenge, the problem of the week, and they drive that. It's like the soap opera travel channel, and you have people that you know what I'm talking about. You have people that just do that kind of thing, and that's fine. People enjoy that. It's just kind of like
almost reality.
It's reality
show.
TV. Yeah. And so there's a space for that. Yay for them. And then what we decided we would do is a positive. So we do no negative reviews. And it's not that we have created an environment that says this is a perfect world. And I'll kind of explain that to you. If you really want to hear some crazy stuff, I can share them with you. We've had some dillies. We really wanted to create something that's really nice. So if we go to a campground and it's bad, then we just hook up and leave. It's just, this is a terrible place. It gets zero promotion. We get no promotion from staying in these campgrounds. So, we just share it with the community. If we get any promotion, we make a few pennies off of YouTube. That's about all we'll make off of it, pennies. We share that from a positive standpoint. So I think there's those that just go, wow, we like, and Joan and I are very positive people, so we don't have to work hard at that. But we show this is a nice place, and this is a nice place for you, a nice place for your family. One of the things we started doing recently, because we were running into other people that were having challenges with parking, we would show folks that this has handicapped access, and we were seeing no one that goes, holy cow, they've got handicapped places for campers, with easy access out of your camper and maybe a paved spot or easy access to the restrooms and showers and those types of things. So we started doing that, show that positive aspect of that. And the same thing with product. If we use a product, if this is the product that we're reviewing and it leaks, you'll never see it on the channel. But if this is a good product, we show you that good product. So people, I think, appreciate that. They don't have to wade through the crud and the drama to be able to see nice campsite, nice historical place to be able to go. Okay, so that's the sewer hose I need. Okay, I'll buy that one. I don't have to look at the 6 that didn't work, right? I mean, who cares? I only want to buy the one that works, right? So what do I care about the 6 that didn't work? So we decided to go that way. Instead of tying you up for an hour with the garbage, we give you 15 minutes of good content of what's needed to be able to be seen. And that came through evolution as well. Gosh, if you look at some of my early videos, they were too long. Maybe overemphasized a little bit too much, but you learn,
That's great. And also thank you for having this conversation with us today. It's been great all around. Learned a lot, shared a lot, and inspired to do a lot. And hopefully we can all do these things that we've been talking about soon. So
I hope so. And thanks for the invitation. I appreciate that. And I wish you the very best in your venture and growing your app. And I'm looking forward to seeing that community grow as well.
Thank you so much, Jerry.
Well, I hope you found that interesting. I know it's a little different than what we typically do on the channel, but it gives you a bit of an insight into I Love RV Life, what we're about, and kind of what our goals and objectives are. So I hope you found that interesting. I wanted to thank Tristan and Eric for the invitation to come to the Breakout Room for this interview, and I appreciate that. And if you get a chance, go out and check out the up-and-coming Stalgia app. And I think that might give us another avenue, another way to be able to share our travels and our memories that's a little different than what we do today. So I think that might be a fun project as it comes about. Now, I did mention that you could get a full-length interview. If you look down here at the bottom, here's a link where you can go and download that from Apple iTunes if you're interested in doing it. And I also use Castbox, I think, on my Android phone, and it's capable of capturing it as well. So you can hear the full, I think it's about 58 minutes long, of all the details that we talked about. So I did mention something fun for March. So this is March 2021. We are going to be giving away to anyone who wants these, our I Love RV Life stickers. We're going to give them to you. We'll mail them to you. What I'll ask you to do is go to iLoveRVlife.com, and when you go there, go to the contact page and send us your email address, and you'll see that on the page, and down in the comment section, give us your mailing address, and we'll send you a couple stickers on our dime. And we'll do this for anyone who lives in Canada or the United States. And we'll mail them to you. We'll give you a couple of them. You can use one on the back of your RV, and then why don't you give one to a friend and spread the I Love RV Life experience with others that are out there. So we'd love to do that. What we'll do is also sign you up for the I Love RV Life weekly newsletter. Get it one time, take a look at it, see if you like it, and if you do, we'll send it to you every week along with the thousands of others who are receiving it today. And you can unsubscribe at any time. So thank you for watching today. And of course, you know why we do this. Sure, it's just because I love RV Life.